Lisa Vanderpump's career got a major boost from her mega-hit reality TV series, Vanderpump Rules, but she's been in the public eye for decades, since childhood. A lot has changed since then. Born in London in 1960, Lisa Vanderpump prepared for a life on the stage from an early age. She told Daily Express that she began ballet classes at just 3 and went to a school of the arts as early as she could. Her book smarts helped her get there. She said, "I was advanced for my age, always a year ahead at school. When I was too young to go to high school, rather than repeat a year, at 9 I went to the Corona Academy Drama School and ended up staying for 8 years. By age 13, Vanderpump had landed a major movie role, playing the daughter of Glenda Jackson's Vicky in 1973's A Touch of Class. Jackson won an Oscar for her performance, and Vanderpump soon had offers pouring in. She told the Daily Express, "I did over 100 commercials for brands like Maltesers, Lilt, Britvic 55, and Hamlet Cigars. So by 19, I'd bought myself a flat in Fulham."
Really together. I kind of very much believed in strong work ethic. I had a job since I was like 13, you know?
Young Lisa Vanderpump was swimming in offers for work. She appeared alongside supermodel-to-be Naomi Campbell in the 1979 TV series Kids and told the Wall Street Journal that Campbell was very forthright for her age and a little spitfire. Vanderpump also appeared in the TV adaptation of John Halifax, Gentleman, 2 episodes of a series called Katie, and a horror movie called Killer's Moon. In her late teens, she played the role of Ursula in The Wildcats of St. Trinians and continued to be cast in other small roles. In the 90s, she appeared on Silk Stockings, Baywatch Nights, and Separate Lives. And when she wasn't acting in TV shows, she stayed busy with music videos and ads. As Lisa Vanderpump's career continued to pick up steam thanks to her various roles in TV shows, music videos, including for ABC's 1982 song Poison Arrow, and advertisements, she found herself in a volatile relationship. Talking to the Daily Express about an abusive ex, she recalled, "He grabbed me by the neck and I thought, okay, I'm done. I thought he wasn't going to change and got out as quickly as I could." When host Andy Cohen asked about this piece of her life story at The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills Season 6 reunion, she replied,
I was 19 and I was threatened and physically hurt.
Vanderpump wrote in a blog post that she feels lucky that she had the strength to walk away from the situation. Vanderpump met her husband, Ken Todd, when she was just 21 years old, but it wasn't love at first sight. She was trying to get rid of him the first time she saw him. She told the Daily Express that their paths first crossed when she was working the front door at a nightclub. She tried to turn Todd away, only to later discover that he was the club's owner. Luckily, it seems as if Todd was the forgiving sort, and the misunderstanding was cleared up. Sparks flew when she played chauffeur later that evening. She recalled, "That night I drove him and my brother home, and Ken said, 'Give me your number.' Actually, better not, because I might fall in love with you." Only 6 weeks later, Vanderpump and Todd were engaged, and they were married within just 3 months. They tied the knot in August 1982 and are still by each other's side. What an epic love story. When Vanderpump's mother-in-law began peppering her with questions about when she and Todd would give up their nomadic lifestyle and have children, she let her know that she was living life on her terms, telling her, "I told her I don't want to stop playing. I just found someone to play with, and together this is how we looked at life." But parenthood did come fairly quickly. The couple welcomed their daughter, Pandora Vanderpump Sabo, in 1986. During her pregnancy, Vanderpump had some trepidation about the future. She told Bustle, "I remember saying to Ken when I was pregnant, we won't be able to do this or we won't be able to do that." However, things rapidly changed once she held her precious newborn in her arms, and she says she took to motherhood really easily. She added that she was very hands-on with her kids, having grown up in a typical hands-off English household. The Vanderpump Todd household expanded with the arrival of Max Todd. As Vanderpump wrote on her Bravo blog in 2015, "This was a deep and poignant story, a story that started 22 years ago when we went to visit him in his foster care home. We traveled and landed in the snowy city and met this little boy who would soon be our son.
I just wanted him. I just said I'd have him before I even got there."
Vanderpump and Todd decided to grow their family by adoption rather than have another biological child, and their eldest child was equally excited about the new addition. As Vanderpump dished, Pandora was 6 and very much believed he would be her baby. The family moved to Los Angeles and were living in the city with their young children when disaster struck. Following the 1994 Northridge earthquake, Vanderpump was ready for a serious change of scenery. The natural disaster had the Vanderpump Todd family packing their bags and heading back to England in a hurry. After returning to England with their family, Lisa Vanderpump and Ken Todd continued to expand their empire. As The Hollywood Reporter notes, the two opened 30 different bars, clubs, and restaurants over the next 20 years. Their customer list included celebrities like George Michael and Elton John. The two later sold some of their businesses and raked in a hefty sum. Vanderpump shared in a Bravo blog post that she always made an effort to balance work and parenthood, writing, "Their childhood was idyllic, full of ponies and dogs, extraordinary experiences coupled with tactile relationships and wonderful holidays. Parents that loved the experience, parents that vowed to never disturb the harmonious life they had by involving our problems." The Vanderpump Todds led very private lives while living in London, very much unlike the lives they'd come to live 5 years later. The Vanderpump Todds packed up and headed back to Los Angeles after Pandora Vanderpump Sabo decided she would attend Pepperdine University. It was seemingly wise for them to follow the kids and travel as they wished and still be a part of their lives. Vanderpump and Todd knew they needed to secure their visas and, in 2005, took a chance on a small restaurant called Sir. Co-owner Natalie Puil Zapata gave WeHoville the inside scoop about how it all went down, saying, "Guillermo Zapata called me and said, 'I just met this couple. They are fabulous and they want to be our partners. This lady even told me she has the money inside her purse right here on the patio." That night, a pregnant Natalie and Guillermo Zapata went to the Vanderpump Todd home and shook hands on a deal to partner up on the West Hollywood Eatery. Lisa Vanderpump did have a few reservations before joining the cast of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills in 2010, namely that Max's family would see the show and say something.
Well, it worries me that maybe this family would come forward. And I said I want to be very sensitive about that.
Bella magazine also noted Vanderpump was not too familiar with the Real Housewives universe and unsure how she'd fit in. She told Locale that she believed she wasn't interesting enough for the series. However, it seems Bravo didn't agree, and Vanderpump was soon cast on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, starting with its first season. Vanderpump soon became one of the most beloved cast members of all time. TV Insider ranked her 10th despite the fact she left the franchise, with her famous one-liners and classy mannerisms. Can you imagine a version of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills where viewers never got to watch Lisa Vanderpump chase miniature horses around Villa Rosa? Standing out on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills not only made Lisa Vanderpump a household name and a regular on the talk show circuit, but it also opened the door to other opportunities. The first was the offer to headline her own spin-off series, Vanderpump Rules, which made its Bravo debut in 2013. And she did rule, with a firm presence behind the scenes and as one of the show's creators and executive producers. Despite the title, however, Vanderpump Rules was less about her own personal drama than that of the young staffers who worked at her Hollywood restaurant, Sir, which became the actual focus of the show. Initially, the cast included Sir's bartenders and waitstaff, a telegenic crew that included Stassi Schroeder, Jax Taylor, Katie Maloney, Tom Sandoval, Kristen Doty, Sheena Shea, and Tom Schwartz. Because they all knew each other well, worked together closely, and were already integrated into each other's lives, Vanderpump saw a situation that was already rife with drama. All she had to do was get cameras to film it. She told Time, "I knew and I chose these people. I knew the stakes would be high because their friendships were real." The same year that Vanderpump Rules premiered, Lisa Vanderpump's takeover of reality television continued as one of the celebs selected to compete on Dancing with the Stars. Naturally, her exit from the dance competition was full of drama. Having fallen ill, she fainted during a rehearsal and had been vomiting in her trailer. Nevertheless, she insisted on soldiering on and took to the dance floor with partner Gleb Savchenko. Sadly, that performance resulted in her elimination from the show.
It's not, how many times you fall. It's how many times you get up that's important.
After it was all over, Vanderpump revealed that she hadn't been able to put her full focus on dancing due to her various other commitments, and she quickly realized she'd stretched herself too thin. She wrote on her Bravo blog, "It was an honor to be asked, and I loved it. But yes, it was at 52 extremely challenging." That said, she added that she didn't regret going on the show at all. Even with some setback, Lisa Vanderpump can't help but stay busy. So in 2017, she took on a new role, editor-in-chief. She told Bravo, "I have always loved being a part of Beverly Hills Lifestyle magazine, and to be asked to be editor-in-chief is not only an honor, but a delight." She added that the magazine is the epitome of luxury. Her daughter, Pandora Vanderpump Sabo, was named the magazine's executive editor. Vanderpump left the editor-in-chief position the next year. The year before taking the editor position, in 2016, Vanderpump founded the Vanderpump Dog Foundation after learning about a festival where dog meat is consumed. The Vanderpump Dog Foundation also started a rescue organization based in Los Angeles. In 2019, Vanderpump opened up to people about her hopes for the foundation, saying, "I hope that will be my legacy. I just want to keep drawing attention to the cause and to rescue dogs. They are so grateful for a chance at a second life." 2018 and 2019 would go down as one of the hardest periods of Lisa Vanderpump's life. In May 2018, her brother, Mark Vanderpump, died by suicide. She told the Daily Mail that she had been in contact with Mark the day before he died, adding, "He was my only sibling, and I am shocked and saddened by his passing. I am trying to be supportive to his 2 young sons that he has left behind and help them get through this tragedy." She told people that she was in a very dark place after her brother's death, sharing that she was crying every single day. She also opened up about Mark's death on Vanderpump Rules.
It's been incredibly difficult, but we have to keep moving forward and make the people that were so important in our lives proud.
A year later, Lisa was hit by another tragedy when her mother, Jean Vanderpump, also died. Entertainment Tonight reported that Lisa was shocked and devastated. She wrote on X, "As you go to RIP with Mark, Mummy, a tragic year for sure." The reality star took a break from filming Vanderpump Rules after Jean's death. Lisa Vanderpump announced that she was quitting the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills in 2019 following some drama that came to be known as Puppygate. In brief, Dorit Kemsley adopted a dog from Vanderpump's adoption service, but gave it away. The dog then ended up in a shelter, which got traced back to Vanderpump. Then things blew up. Vanderpump told Daily Express, "I was tearful most days filming Housewives last season. The whole cast ganged up on me, and I was just weary."
Hi, do you recognize this dog? Does this dog look familiar to you?
Vanderpump also talked to people about her departure, saying, "I had a great time on Housewives, but to have negativity during a time in my life when I needed to try to be positive, I decided it was over." Vanderpump had definitely taken flack from her castmates before, but feeling like her foundation for dogs was being unfairly attacked took things to another level. She added, "Suddenly, to start dealing with them all screaming and shouting at me on that first trip to the Bahamas, I thought, what the hell am I doing?" And that was really it. At the end of 2020, Lisa Vanderpump shared the news that Giggy, one of her beloved Pomeranians, had died. The pup was a fixture of both the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and Vanderpump Rules, and was nearly always in Vanderpump's arms, if not in someone else's. In her Instagram tribute to Giggy, she shared 3 photos of the pooch where he was dressed to the nines. She wrote in the caption, "We are devastated to say that our beloved Giggy has passed away this morning. He was truly loved, and we know how many of you loved him too. Our sweet gigolo was such an incredible, unique dog, but mainly because of him, we started the Vanderpump Dog Foundation and embarked on our mission to save as many dogs as possible." Andy Cohen also seemed to love Giggy, stating on Radio Andy,
"Giggy was truly the mascot of Bravo."
In February 2021, word got out that Lisa Vanderpump had scored a new series. In each 30-minute episode of Overserved with Lisa Vanderpump, the host would welcome a group of celebrities into her home, Villa Rosa, and treat them to a lavish dinner. She told Us Weekly that the show came about from her experiences during the COVID-19 quarantine. She had been cooking up a storm, and when approached by producers, she came up with the concept of entertaining stars at her home. The series premiered on E! In March 2021, and audiences watched Vanderpump dine with a roster of stars that included Steve-O, Margaret Cho, Trixie Mattel, Cheryl Underwood, and Lance Bass. Unfortunately, the ratings were not great. In its debut, Overserved attracted just 353,000 viewers, ranking as cable's 35th most watched show. The following week, it dropped to 106th. While E! never announced that the show was officially canceled, the fact that there's been no news of a second season indicates it may never arrive. Lisa Vanderpump's Dog Foundation, as well-intentioned as it may be, has not gone without controversy. For example, in 2020, the Vanderpump Dog Foundation was sued by former employee Victoria Guzman. Guzman alleged she'd been sexually harassed on the job and then felt she had no option other than to quit when her superiors ignored her complaints. Guzman eventually dropped the lawsuit. In 2021, a woman who'd adopted a dog from the Vanderpump Dog Foundation in 2019 sued, claiming she'd been assured the puppy she'd adopted had received all its required vaccinations and medical treatment. Shortly after returning home with her new pet, she took the dog to a veterinary hospital, where the animal was discovered to have a worm infection. To make matters worse, she herself was subsequently diagnosed with intestinal parasites, which she got from the dog. She alleged that the foundation provided her with falsified records of the dog's immunization and a bogus certificate stating her new pet had been dewormed. The foundation ultimately ended the matter with an out-of-court settlement. Lisa Vanderpump combined her love of dogs and talent for reality TV in Vanderpump Dogs, a new series that launched in the summer of 2021 on Peacock. The series was essentially spawned by the Vanderpump Dog Foundation's work, taking viewers inside the process as dogs are adopted from her rescue facility. In addition to Vanderpump, who played an active role in the series' adoptions, the cast also included Dr. Andrew Y. Kushner, the foundation's in-house veterinarian, dog groomers Brian Marshall and Patrick Miller-Wren, trainer Madeline Quint, communications director Kendall Young, and social media/marketing maven Summer Loftus, Vanderpump told Bravo Insider, "It's about basically finding the right dog for the right person, or the right person for the right dog. And it's beautiful, poignant, heart-wrenching, happy, funny, but sometimes sad." The series demonstrated how the dogs are rehabilitated after being rescued and are then found permanent homes.
Chandeliers, there's velvet sofas, there's music playing. There are dogs that are happy to be here.
6 episodes were produced, but it seems unlikely there will be more, as the last one aired in 2021 with no news of renewal. Just before Vanderpump Rules started its 10th season in 2023, some off-camera shenanigans involving 3 members of the cast created a scandal. According to reports, Tom Sandoval cheated on his longtime girlfriend, Ariana Madix, with Raquel Leviss, who was one of her closest friends. Sandoval's infidelity, dubbed Scandoval, made countless headlines, drawing more attention to the show than it had ever received before. Because the season had been shot amid the affair, viewers watched intently to see if they could pick up on clues. Inconveniently for Sandoval, but a heaven-sent bonus for the show's producers, the reunion show was scheduled to be taped just 2 weeks after the news emerged, pretty much guaranteeing the juiciest reality show drama. Vanderpump said of the situation at the Variety Entertainment Marketing Summit, "I would say it's a producer's dream, but talent's nightmare. It was almost akin to Friends, like if Chandler and Phoebe suddenly started shagging." When the dust settled, the 10th season of Vanderpump Rules racked up monster ratings, with a staggering 11.4 million viewers. The first reunion episode drew an audience of 4.6 million, the highest rated episode of any Bravo series in nearly a decade, and the most watched Vanderpump Rules episode in the series' history. In addition to SUR, Lisa Vanderpump also operated Pump Restaurant and Lounge for 9 years, starting in 2013. In 2023, she announced that Pump would be closing down because a drastic rent increase had forced her hand, making it impossible to turn a profit. She told Variety, "It was purely a business decision. With rents being $80,000 a month now, there's just no way." One of her other restaurants, Villa Blanca in Beverly Hills, shut down in 2020 under similar circumstances. Closing Pump stores resulted in legal action from the landlord. The building's owner sued her husband, Ken Todd, seeking $1 million. According to the suit, the landlord alleged that Todd hadn't transferred Pump's liquor license back to the property owners, which resulted in costly delays for the new tenant. The suit also alleged that Todd had stolen $50,000 worth of fixtures, including chandeliers. Todd said the chandeliers were his to begin with, telling people, "When we took over the place known as Pump 10 years ago, it was an empty car park. You don't normally find antique chandeliers hanging in a car park." In 2024, the landlord at Pump abruptly dropped his lawsuit, with Lisa Vanderpump and Ken Todd emerging unscathed from their legal ordeal. TMZ reported that Todd and Vanderpump were planning to reopen the restaurant in a new location, just a few doors down from where it had been. According to that report, the new Pump would be replacing the Garden Bar at Tom Tom, the watering hole named after Vanderpump Rules regulars Tom Sandoval and Tom Schwartz. Ultimately, that report proved to be only partially true. Vanderpump said in a statement to Us Weekly, "When we closed Pump, we moved some of the staff and our chef to Tom Tom, as they were so good, so we've been affectionately calling the back garden of Tom Tom the Pump Garden." Lisa Rinna left The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills in 2023, leading Lisa Vanderpump to confirm the bad blood between the two. Vanderpump simply posted to X, "Ding Dong," referring to the Witch is Dead song from The Wizard of Oz. With Rinna out, rumors began surfacing that Vanderpump might return to The Real Housewives fold. Would she consider coming back to the series that made her a reality TV superstar? She was posed that very question by Andy Cohen during an appearance on Watch What Happens Live.
And you're kind of on the right path with one gone. There's just a few more to go.
Oh boy.
During a panel at BravoCon in November 2023, a fan asked the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills cast whether they'd like to see Vanderpump return. Kyle Richards, who also clashed with Vanderpump a few times, said, "I'm always open to whatever. I don't hold any grudges." The fallout from Scandoval continued to impact Vanderpump Rules for quite some time. Part of the fallout was that Raquel Leviss decided to quit the show after spending 3 months in a mental health facility. Leviss subsequently opened up about what happened, sharing her side of the story on the Just Be with Bethany Frankel podcast in 2023. Lisa Vanderpump was not impressed, not only by what Leviss had to say, but also by the fact that Leviss didn't do it on Vanderpump Rules. Vanderpump told Page Six, "I wish she'd actually come to me instead of sitting in the safety of somebody else's podcast. Had she come to me, I think I would have been good to her." Vanderpump also fired back at Leviss's claim that she was poorly paid. The SUR boss confirmed reports that Leviss earned about $350,000, telling TMZ that she was paid precisely $361,000 for the Scandoval season of Vanderpump Rules. The scandal-fueled 10th season of Vanderpump Rules not only earned the show its highest ratings ever, but it also gave Lisa Vanderpump something she never had before, an Emmy nomination. As the show's executive producer, she was named as a nominee in the Outstanding Unstructured Reality Program category for 2023. The show also earned another nomination for Outstanding Picture Editing for an Unstructured Reality Program. Vanderpump told E! News, "I actually did get goosebumps and cried. I just thought to actually be at that level, it's so unexpected if you go back 13 years, and I don't take it for granted at all." Sadly, Vanderpump did not come home from the award gala with an Emmy. The honor instead went to the reality series Welcome to Wrexham. Had she won, she had the ideal and most immodest spot already picked out to display the trophy. Vanderpump joked that she'd put it on the hood of her car so she could see it all the time. Lisa Vanderpump is a woman in her 60s, so she's been through menopause. She told Hello in January 2024 that she did not have an easy time with it, stating, "I think women aren't really prepared for menopause because it's just something you hear about, but it's like going back to being a 14-year-old every day. It's not even 3 or 4 days a month. It's just all the time, and that was hard." She credited her husband, Ken Todd, for his support during that difficult period. She used him as a sounding board and shoulder to cry on when she felt overwhelmed. Vanderpump also acknowledged that not all men are knowledgeable about menopause, particularly the impact it can have on a woman's hormones and the resultant mood swings. She said, "I think partners need to be more understanding, and men need to have an education as much as women and be able to recognize this isn't normal for the person you married." Vanderpump also admitted that watching yourself age on television is not for the timid. Seeing herself in flashbacks from the first season of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, she noted, was particularly daunting. Vanderpump said she has a 5-point plan to help her cope with aging. Quote, "Positivity, exercise, good diet, good attitude, and Botox." In January 2024, Lisa Vanderpump and Ken Todd were hit with another lawsuit filed by former employees at their restaurant Tom Tom. According to the suit, the staffers, who were bartenders, alleged they were fired after complaining that their working conditions were not safe. A plumbing incident had caused sewage to flood into the employees' break room. The suit stated, "During this period, the former bartenders experienced rampant violations of California labor laws, harassment, and unsafe working conditions." The employees also claimed that after Todd fired them, he had then badmouthed them to other prospective employers. Todd reportedly declined to comment on the suit or its claims. In early 2024, Bravo announced that Vanderpump Rules would be getting a spinoff of its own, titled The Valley. The new series, set in the San Fernando Valley, follows a similar template, focusing on some Vanderpump Rules alumni. At the center of the series are 5 couples, Jax Taylor and Brittany Cartwright, Kristen Doty and husband Luke Broderick, along with Danny and Nia Bucco, Jesse and Michelle Lally, and Jason and Janet Caperna.
The Valley is the next chapter of our lives.
As with the original series, Lisa Vanderpump is also an executive producer of The Valley. She told The Hollywood Reporter, "It's a very different show than Vanderpump Rules, but I think it was interesting to see them pretend to be grown-ups. I use the word grown-ups very loosely." She pointed out that Taylor, Cartwright, Doty, and the others may have grown older, but that didn't necessarily equate with wisdom. Lisa Vanderpump started yet another new show in 2024, all thanks to the smash success of the 10th season of Vanderpump Rules. And this one's on a Bravo competitor. Hulu's Vanderpump Villa shifts the action from Vanderpump's usual stomping ground in Los Angeles to the south of France, where she puts an elite staff through their paces at an estate in the French countryside. In the series, Vanderpump proves to be quite the tastemaker as she tutors her employees, who live and work together in close quarters, in the intricacies of providing guests with opulent 5-star luxury.
Don't get sloppy.
Of course, the partying staffers go way beyond sloppy. Vanderpump went on a media blitz to promote the show, including appearances on Good Morning America and her old stomping grounds at Dancing with the Stars. In March 2024, Fox announced that Lisa Vanderpump would be joining the 2nd season of Gordon Ramsay's Food Stars, in which she and superstar Chef Ramsay faced off in a culinary competition, evaluating their business savvy. When the season kicked off that May, it was clear that Ramsay had met his match in the former Real Housewife. Vanderpump told Us Weekly, "There was a little bit of butting heads, but it was all faced with respect." Vanderpump praised her restaurant rival for the extraordinary achievements in his career, but also noted that it was tough to get Ramsay to settle down and shut his mouth at times. Vanderpump said that Ramsay's competitive nature forced her to up her own game and embrace her competitive side.
You ready?
Born ready.
She told Variety that when she did win one of their show's battles, she couldn't help but gloat, saying, "I didn't let him forget it, and he's used to winning, but guess what? So am I." When the dust settled, Ramsay agreed that it was Jess Drury of Team Vanderpump who won, meaning that Vanderpump, by association, was also victorious. In July 2024, Lisa Vanderpump dropped some sad news in an Instagram post. Accompanying a photo of Lisa and her father, John Vanderpump, she announced that he'd passed away. She wrote in the caption, "I will miss you, Daddy. Brokenhearted. rest in peace. Upon seeing the news, several of Vanderpump's colleagues from the Bravoverse offered their condolences in the comments to her post. Vanderpump Rules co-star Sheena Shea wrote, "So sorry for your loss, Lisa. Sending you lots of love." Co-star James Kennedy wrote, "So sorry, Lisa. Sending my condolences and love." She also received a message from the Real Housewives of New Jersey star Teresa Giudice, who simply wrote that she was sorry for Lisa's loss. When Lisa Vanderpump appeared on the Call Her Daddy podcast in the spring of 2024, she made some remarks implying that some of her Real Housewives of Beverly Hills co-stars were lying about how happy they were in their marriages. This understandably raised the hackles of recently separated Kyle Richards, who deduced that Vanderpump had been referring to her. She said on Amazon Live that Vanderpump just does that to be really mean. Vanderpump fired back during her subsequent appearance on the Not Skinny But Not Fat podcast. When presented with a list of 3 housewives, Lisa Rinna, Brandi Glanville, and Richards, Vanderpump was asked which of the trio she'd prefer to be stranded with on a desert island for 5 days. "Oh, I couldn't last 5 days with any of them. I just couldn't," Vanderpump said, as reported by Us Weekly. A few months later, Richards revealed on another Amazon Live that she'd bumped into Vanderpump and husband Ken Todd, and their encounter had been cordial.
Anyway, it wasn't bad. It did not go badly, I will say that.
Vanderpump, however, characterized the meeting a bit differently on the Access Hollywood show Housewives Nightcap, saying her attitude toward Richards was kind of indifference.
You can't kind of ever pick up a friendship and somebody's calling you a liar and screaming. That doesn't work for me.
In August 2024, Lisa Vanderpump announced yet another business venture. As a press release revealed, she partnered with supermarket chain Kroger for a line of branded floral bouquets, Vanderpump Blooms x Bloomhouse. She said in the release, "I think anybody who has followed me for years knows that I have a love for flowers, as they've seen in my restaurants and how I live my life. So to have created a flower brand with Kroger is an absolute pleasure." Vanderpump explained that she personally designed the arrangements, which ranged from her signature pink bouquet to an autumn extravagance bouquet. The entrepreneur wasn't just out to make a buck, but also hoped that this new project would encourage people to feel less intimidated about bringing the beauty of flowers into their lives. She told People, "I think a lot of people are scared of flowers. They think, oh, I don't know what to do with them. So I'm making it simple and just adding the beauty to life." The grand opening of Pinkies by Vanderpump, Lisa Vanderpump's Las Vegas eatery in Caesar's Palace, arrived a little later than scheduled in December 2024 instead of that summer, as originally planned. A few months before the opening, Vanderpump decided to lay down some roots in Sin City by purchasing a luxurious mansion overlooking a golf course, reportedly shelling out $5 million for the pad in October 2024. According to sources, she closed the deal in just 3 days, immediately after returning from Europe after wrapping up production of the 2nd season of Vanderpump Villa. She moved in right away and began decorating the place, which boasts a large swimming pool and stunning desert views. She'd also been gushing to friends about how much she'd fallen in love with Las Vegas and her plans to split her time between her Beverly Hills home and her swanky new Nevada pad. The Scandoval giveth and the Scandoval taketh away. While it brought huge ratings, it also caused so much tension among the cast that the show couldn't really go on. This became crystal clear at the end of season 11, which left lots of ruined relationships in its wake. In November 2024, Bravo announced that it would reboot the show with a whole new cast. A press release from the network stated, "Under Lisa Vanderpump's watchful eye, the West Hollywood mainstay Sir, and now Tom Tom, welcomes the next batch of servers, hosts, and bartenders rife with plenty of drama, situationships, and frenemies." The premise would remain the same, but the personnel would change. Casting for the 12th season got underway immediately. Vanderpump told People in January 2025 that Vanderpump Rules alum Peter Madrigal claimed he was in discussions to return and that the new cast had already been set. She said, "I know the new cast. Yeah, I know them pretty well. There's a lot of drama going on at the restaurant. There always is. So it's going to be insane. It's going to be a little bit intense." If you or anyone you know is having suicidal thoughts, please call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-TALK 8255.